So even though GM has not released official numbers on quarter mile times and all that other stuff, all the other track times, I've decided to do some digging myself, and I've figured out something that I think you are gonna like a lot. In today's world of kids, it's not only important to know the quarter mile times for a car, but it's also really important to know the 60 to 130. The reason why is because roll racing has become ultra popular between young kids and all the way up to grown adult. So after doing some digging, I was like, you know what? Like, I as much as I want to know the quarter mile time for the C8 ZR1, I was like, that 60 to 130 I think is really important because that will really tell you the acceleration past that dig mode, right? So everybody knows when you're digging off the line, that feels great. But then after that, does the car continue to pull? And that's really the only way to figure that out is by understanding the 60 to 130 time. And I have got something to show you that actually, for the most part, solves it. Now, did I use a draggy to figure this out? No. Have I driven the car? No. But using real data, real information, I was able to get a very, very, very close estimate. I'm going to show you like literally exactly how I figured it out so you can look at it yourself and you can make your own determination. But I think I got it pretty much solved. Now, once people go use draggies out there and test it themselves, whatever, they're going to figure out their own times. But from what I saw on video, I was able to do some reverse engineering, and now I'm going to show you that it's actually really, really cool. Now, before I get to the reverse engineering, let me explain something to you. 60 to 130, right? So there's a lot of people out there who do roll racing. They go to half-mile events, they go to 1 mile events, whatever. They're roll racing, and this is important to them. They want to know. Most people do quarter-mile racing. You go to a drag strip and you're going from a launch, right? When you launch from a dig, things are so much different than when you're going from a roll. Like all the dynamics change when you're already rolling. Imagine, already rolling at 40 to 50 miles per hour, then you hit it, everything's different. It's just, you don't need as much grip to start, right? The surface, not that the surface doesn't matter as much, but it doesn't matter as much, right? The surface is very, very crucial. Your stickiness, your grip is very, very crucial when you're doing a dig, right? Because you got to get optimal grip and you got to roll out of there and go, versus when you're doing it from a roll already, you don't have to have the most perfect surface. Now, you can't have a completely terrible surface because you'll spin, but if it's not as optimal, but it's fairly decent, you shouldn't have an issue. Now, these higher horsepower cars, sometimes they do, right? Especially now going into this ZR1 territory where you have 1,064 horsepower. That's a lot of power. Now, a few stats on the C8 ZR1. This thing is going to come with an LT7 motor. That LT7 is a 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8, and it is twin turbocharged, DOHC, 1,064 horsepower, which is absolutely nuts. The most horsepower I've ever seen from any GM vehicle. This thing is going to be crazy. It makes 1,064 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. It's 828 foot-pounds of torque. It makes that at 6,000 RPM. Red line's at 8,000, a little bit lower than the Z06. The Z06 is 8,600 RPM, but it's all good. 8,000 RPM, we'll take it. I mean, there's been no other boosted vet ever that GM's ever come out from the factory that had 8,000 RPM with boost, right? The last time with the supercharger, I think it was like what, 6,500 or something like that. So this is gonna be nutty. Dual ported shroud, ball bearing, mono scroll turbos, 76 millimeters or something like that. The turbochargers are integrated with the exhaust manifold. This ZR1 has this very intelligent anti-lag system. I don't even know how it works, but it's gonna be cool. And it's gonna be better than anything else that is out there. And if you think about it, honestly, like I have a C8 Z06, which is right behind me right here, and then I have my C6 Z06, which is right over there. My C6 Z06 is a LS7, and this thing was making from the factory 505 horsepower. So this new ZR1 makes over double the horsepower that my C6 Z06 makes, which means like this LS7, two LS7s still don't even compete with the C8 ZR1. Now, enough going through all the stats and all that stuff. Now it's time to look at the C8 ZR1. This is not a ZR1, this is my Z06. I just want to look at it real quick. But now it's time to check out my findings to show you what I think and what I've kind of figured out and somewhat proved the 60 to 130 is for the C8 ZR1. All right, so what I did was I actually took this video from Car and Driver, and let's just take a quick look at it real quick so that you can see what's going on. So Car and Driver did like their top speed, actually I don't know if it was a Car and Driver, it was probably a GM driver or whatever, doing like this top speed run or whatever, and Car and Driver had this video, so I was like, you know what, I saw it on Instagram, I was like, let me check this thing out. Then I was like, you know what, let me trim this thing down so I can see exactly how quick this 60 to 130 was. So as you can see right here, I'm using my little editor to trim it down. You know, I trim it down all the way to the point where it's at 60 mile per hour to start, because luckily we were able to see the speedometer this entire time. By seeing the speedometer, this allowed me to hone in to figure out exactly when the 60 to 130 was, as close as I could get. So I'm trimming it, and I'm trying to be as careful as humanly possible when I'm trimming it. It takes a lot of precision and being very, very steady with your finger. Then I fast forward a little bit and I go all the way to the 130 point. But the issue is there wasn't a 130 on the dash. It went to 131. So I figured, you know what, if I'm off by 1 mile per hour, whatever, I'd rather err on the high side than err on the low side. So I found 131 miles per hour, and from there I was like, okay, let me find the precise moment where right when it hit 131, and then let me, put a little split in there. I'll delete the rest, and then after I delete the rest, I'll be able to basically see exactly what the 60 to 130 was. And ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There you go. 4.8 seconds is the 60 to 130, and I tried to find the exact. It actually ended up being 4.88 when it was all said and done. I was trying to be as exact as humanly possible. The moment it hit 60 mile per hour on the speedo, all the way to the moment it hit 131. Like, I was trying to be as precise, but 4.88 seconds is your 60 to 130. Man, absolutely crazy. Absolutely nuts. Alright, so right here we have a C8 ZR1 getting ready to do a 60 to 130. I don't condone doing high-speed runs on roads, but unfortunately this is all I could find online to just show you exactly what the last generation C8 ZR1 could do. Now he's off. He's going. Let's see what he hits in his 60 to 130. 6.68 seconds. That's not bad at all, but definitely slower than the C8 ZR1. Now, let's look at the C8 Z06, right? Obviously less power than the C8 ZR1, and he's getting ready to do his run. Once again, I do not condone doing this. Do not do this on public roads. Go do it at a track, but unfortunately, this is all I could find online. I couldn't find any track stuff, but I just wanted to show a comparison on what these times are. He's off. C8 Z06, let's see what the 60 to 130 is on this one, and it is a 8.55. Now, after seeing the information I provided, after looking through all the data that I just showed you, what's your thoughts? Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm just full of crap and everything I just said is just ding dong. Let me know. Or you could be like, you know what, hey Jesse, everything you just said is actually very accurate and I think you're right. Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts. If you think I'm wrong, let me know what you think it is. Just write it down in the comments. I want to see it. I want to interact with it. I'll tell you if I think you're wrong. I'll tell you, you know what, hey, you're right and I'm wrong. Whatever it is, just let me know in the comments. It's just something fun. Once again, I don't know the actual information. I'm just looking at data and just trying to make an educated guess, just looking at it and trying to show you how I came about my answers, and hopefully how I came about my answers makes sense. But anyways, that was fun. That was super cool. I cannot wait to get my C8 ZR1, and I've been fortunate enough where my C8 Z06, I got VIN 34, my C8 E-Ray, which is not here, it's in Texas, I got VIN 34, and the C8 ZR1, hopefully I can get to VIN 34.